this thing on? Yeah, I think we're working. Hello. Hello! Folks. My friends, plural. Hello. What's up, everybody? Hey! Hello, hi, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Welcome to another day, another dollar, another Star Citizen review panel. We got a lot of things to go through, and they just keep releasing them on YouTube, so as they come, we will be watching. And today, we've got personal stuff to go through. Character customization, new factions and stuff, cloth tech, hair tech, stuff we saw in the engine demo, but also some good news. I think one of the more interesting additions from citizencon, one of the few things that are getting added, is in this panel. A couple of the things, actually. And that's probably one of the best parts about the citizencon. I think many of us can agree they actually showed gameplay this time. I keep seeing people leave comments like, oh yeah, CIG's always been great at making marketing videos, but, you know, I think we're all quite used to seeing CIG's gameplay. And what they showed us this time definitely was different. Not only that, they've announced that some of this stuff is coming in the next update. So by the end of the year, we will be getting some of the features in the citizencon, which, you know, I think is a point on their side, because a lot of times people don't really consider anything from citizencon coming to the game anytime soon. But how y'all doing today? Welcome. It's gonna be a good one. Nice, calm one. I don't really have any past material to reference for this one. There are a couple things, but I didn't think they added too much to the discussion, so I thought we'd just watch through it, ask questions, talk a little bit. We'd be looking into hair fate, don't worry. Corporal Brew, good to see you. Creature Punji. Welcome, guys. Orneus, Vastin. Division Error. Hello. REA, always good to see you in here. Cotton, you're back. Where were you at? Orneus. Hello. Sorry, I missed you, Cotton. Remind me again. Someone posted a transcript of a French interview with Benoit on the SC subreddit. It's pretty hyped. Yeah, he was talking about the economy stuff, right? Saw that. Well, I didn't see it, but I heard about it. Saw reference to it. Hello, DK. We're going to have to get a soundbite on this stream of Bone Press T. You know, they're also going to really need to put a Corporal Bone on the Idris in Squadron 42. There has to be. Just like one instance where like everything is crazy and everything's going wild, and like Captain Smith or Admiral Bishop or somebody just yells to the back and they're like, Corporal Bone, press the button. And like, you only know if you know. What's up, guys? 07, how you doing? 322 is going to be epic. I wonder what they're looking to put in 3.22. There's a lot there could be there. You know, I'm wondering if they sneak in a surprise bounty hunting feature with 322. That'd be cool. Tomatoes mic check caused my pups to go crazy. It was very sudden. Is Nyx being worked on? It's likely, but it's not confirmed. For the best report on if it's being worked on, if the monthly reports aren't saying anything, you know, the progress tracker is not the most trustable source of info, but it's still worth at least going on there and seeing if something is listed. They don't even have scheduled work on there for Nyx, so there's a good chance it's not getting worked on, but it's always a possibility. It is going to be the next system. You want freight elevators? So do I. Yeah, freight elevators and that whole system would be great. That would be cool in 322. A lot of big streamers have been watching these rather blind. I see a lot of them getting excited. However, I do worry that many of them are going to expect No Man's Sky meets Starfield. Why are they expecting that? Wait, watch this. Watching these panels? People are watching the panels? I feel like if I wasn't really interested in Star Citizen, I probably wouldn't sit through this. Howdo. Thank you for the support on YouTube. Appreciate you. Can't watch the stream, but since you see less people here than you just came to say, for y'all to have a good cozy stream, follow my guy because he works on a lot of things. Thank you. Nahor, I appreciate you. No problem, man. Catch you when you can. Come by. You put in the Discord stream management chat family stuff. Gotcha. I might have missed that. I'm sorry. Trying to find you during the citizencon, but there's so many of us. There were so many of us. Oh, man. We didn't get to run into each other. We were at the Yard House a lot after the convention. So we were doing a lot of socializing out there, you could call it. Alrighty. So, folks, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we getting into this? Are we going to look at the characters, factions? Interestingly enough, you know, I was thinking this was only going to be about just a little bit of factions and stuff, but the fact that they are introducing the new factions to the game makes kind of a big deal and not so much a big deal. Ninetales, when they were added to the game as a faction, the missions mostly stayed the same, but they got more like lore to them. You know, they made more sense. There was more behind them. With other missions that the Dusters are probably going to take, I think it'll likely be mostly the same. I don't know if they're introducing new missions. They did say most of their missions are mining related. So we'll have to see. But it is nice that there's going to be a faction, you know, a distinct difference between enemies that you're fighting, armor that you can get, maybe even weapons that you can get, and ships that you see. So I look forward to it. It's a nice addition from citizencon. Let's see how this one starts out.
Hello there. Hey everyone, it's so good to see you all again in person. Thanks for coming out. So I'm Ian, I'm the art director for Star Citizen. We're going to kick off the first ever day 2 of citizencon by talking about some of the awesome work done by the character team. All right. So first let's talk about life in a frontier system like Pyro and how this influences the character designs. So we wanted to create something unique compared to what we've seen in Stanton already. We wanted to give a wider visual palette and a feeling of historical age between the different solar systems. So this chart describes the fashion pillars for humanity. We can see where all suits, armors, and fashion items should belong. In terms of material use, manufacturing technology, and novelty.
I think this is actually pretty interesting because where is it here? Earth straight up just doesn't have anything new. Isn't that kind of funny? Like, they have nothing. So I wonder how they're going to continue to build on that idea that maybe people don't even like return to Earth, you know? The idea of going to Earth is a crazy idea because it's so far away or something. So that's pretty wild. The frontier fashion is interesting. This is I got an interesting little tidbit that they've released before that we can compare to this chart that actually lines up. Consistency. What do you know? So here's architectural style. We're looking at clothing style. This is architectural style, and you can see colonialism, which is here. 2410 is obviously closer to 1950 than it is to 2953. So if you look at the colonialism architectural style, you'll see that one of the pillars here says frontier vibe. So all this frontier stuff that they're talking about clearly falls in the colonialism bracket. They do call them colonialism outposts. So it kind of makes sense that all of their fashion also kind of comes into that earlier in the timeline area. Can't wait to see what Terra fashion looks like, though.
Earth fashion on the left, Terra fashion on the right, and frontier fashion right in the middle with a little bit of overlap of Earth. So essentially, frontier fashion is function over form. They are repurposed and repaired, and generally are misfits rather than sets. Outfits are purposeful by having storage solutions. This implies survivability along the frontier. Okay, let's take a look at some of these assets in the game.
Love the detail. A little more utilitarian. Fresh and steamy. I don't even know what is fresh and steamy. I don't want to know. Like, what are y'all serving out here on these space stations? I've seen what you pick up in the vents. Yeah, the detail's great on items that are so modular. So let me give you guys a look at let me go back to the planetary setups, this kind of stuff here. So these, we've actually gotten some previews of the stuff that is meant to look more like this. Got this a while ago. Here's some of the concepts. And you can definitely see where, you know, they continued. You can see some of the stuff from number 5. Like a lot of this top row, I think, has a lot of influence there. And then this guy looks a little bit like a headhunter's dude, doesn't he? But maybe that's just because he's not wearing very much clothes. That's what they look like. So yeah, this was some of the old Frontier stuff. A little bit more of it here. They were always kind of focused on this sense of modularity in pouches and fabrics and cloths and stuff. And it looks like they stuck to it pretty well. Yeah, this is an engine. Yeah, that was some nasty side-eye. Is that an emote? Can I emote my eyes that hard into the side of my head? Then this helmet. This is a nice place to stop at. Everybody was like, oh, crap, okay.
Okay, awesome. So hopefully you guys that played Pirate Playground, you will have seen a few of those assets being showcased. So as we saw,
can confirm
video,
I have actually run into some of these assets in game already. At the citizencon, not the actual game.
And storage are a key part of the Frontier aesthetic. This drives the feeling of survivability. But from here, we thought it'd be really cool to give the functionality, but also some customization options. So let's take a look at a video we just developed internally. And this is for modular storage items on the player.
Okay, so what do you guys think of this? This was not, I didn't expect this. I expected them to show us backpacks over fabric before this. Actually, that reminds me. Hold on, we're gonna come back to this. We're at 5 minutes. Real quick, I forgot to point this out. Where is it? This is technically a backpack over clothing, right? You think with this set of assets, we're going to start to be able to wear backpacks without having to put on armor? Or is that just an NPC thing? Anyways, back to modularity. Morning, Stumafu, Bishop. So yeah, this is great. This is very cool. I'm wondering if there will be a way to expand the amount of places you can attach a bag. Different types of bags, different types of compartments. Overall, the idea of modular inventory, pretty sick. Yeah, after seeing that, you guys think it's going to be backpacks with clothing? I guess it makes sense. I mean, these are basically backpacks on clothing. They're just smaller. So, yeah, I think we can say that's pretty much confirmed. Corporal Brew, thank you so much for the 10, for the super chat. I did see somebody talk about the translation of the quantum economy conversation with Benoit. I'll have to check that out. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Pretty cool, right? So I think this will provide loads of customization options in the future. We're super happy about that. So we also created some extreme weather costumes for frontier locations, and these also follow the same mismatched and
yeah. So I'm betting. I mean, there's going to
aesthetics.
be downsides to these, right? I'm betting that it will slow down your movement. You're going to have more weight on you, and at some point, they're going to start to factor in mass for our stamina and stuff. I feel like that's a matter of time. So, yeah, I think this would make a difference with how much you can carry and how fast you can move and stamina you can use and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if it changed your hitbox too, if people could actually hit these bags, since a lot of things, you know, the bullets go where they're actually supposed to go and all the stuff is physicalized. We don't know if that'll hurt you or what it will do, but people could shoot those bags as well. Not a big deal. Yeah, could make you louder as well. Oh, server meshing. Ah, I see. Cool. I'll have to look at that one too. Thank you, Blue.
Now, we've also been focusing on achieving a higher visual benchmark. So this is all driven by our new Layer Blend V2 shader and its texture library. And we focused on more consistent wearing between 0 and 100% values. So to showcase this, let's look at a quick example asset.
Tuscan Raider vibes. I'm not even that crazy about this helmet, but the interior looks so cool. So freaking detailed.
All right.
Hey, Omar.
So as we saw in the video, the insides of the helmets are looking fantastic. Now, this is us getting them ready to animate with put on and take off.
So that's, you know what? We can find that. Y'all want to see if we can find that when that happened before? I think that's going to be a citizencon 2019, maybe? Let's see, citizencon armor is what I'm going to type in. It was this one.
So yeah, typically these things just pop onto the player, and normally this is fine. The gameplay aspect is totally fine here, but we want to give you, something better in the best damn space sim ever. It's got to feel like it's your helmet, right? So let's take a look at how we do this.
Oh, thank God that's over.
We can leave it looping for a while. We can go back.
No, please go for it.
Classic.
Okay, so let's take a look at what I'm talking about here. So on this one, let's just start from the beginning real quick. Now, like I said, showing off the visor effects here. It was great work by the VFX team. It's kind of nice to get that in. But let's go ahead and get some cover so we can dry off and check out these helmets. Now, right now, I'm wearing the light undersuit. And you can see some other helmets. We have a variety in the universe. So let's go ahead and pop off this guy. Take a look. And this is just the Odyssey helmet, classic. And these are some of the new options available to you once you unequip your helmets. Now we want the helmet to be a more personal experience. You want to be able to feel it, you want to be able to place it, you want to be able to throw it around, and that's exactly what I'm about to do, because I want a new helmet. Boom, get that out of here. Now, the Caldera helmet in front of me, I actually cannot equip this because I don't have the bespoke armor that's required to maintain it. So let's go ahead and take an inspect look real quick. He's okay, folks. Yeah, so because I can't wear that one, let's take a look at a classic over here. This one's more my style. I want to try out the S42 helmet. Kind of reminds me of old man, I like to role play a little bit. So let's go ahead and put this on. take another look at it. Now, the artist, especially Shane, puts a lot of work into these helmets, so you want to be able to inspect them. You want to be able to look around inside them, kind of see the detail we put in there for you. It's a completely immersive first and third experience, so even though you see it on the outside, you can see it on the inside. It's great stuff.
So,
Take this little guy with me.
Clearly they got that working in some closed environment, but they never brought it to the game. That's one of those things that kind of disappeared, and people were like, where is that? Now, obviously, everybody's talking about it. Now they're finally actually building the helmets out for it. And, they're saying that, and you could say that they're just saying that. Obviously, don't believe it until you see it in game. But it makes more sense now with Squadron being where it is. I think that they would actually be approaching something like that. Hey, Drazen. Dude, you just do your 3-year sub? Holy crap, man. Wow. Appreciate you, dude. How's it going, man? How are you? Drazen is a resident mod. GII. GII homie. Also, Grim, thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a good stream. All this is cool and all, but will they ever be able to fix the AI just standing on top of things randomly? Yes, they will. We went over that. If you go back to our video about 2 days ago, we went over completely how they're going to make sure that happens. This is more the people who are working on character customization, so they're not really talking about AI in this one. Wonder if the face opening like that means it can open for eating? I was thinking they were just trying to show the different parts of it. Soften the look of the shipjackers gang. Which gang did the shipjackers turn into? Headhunters? You think boot will affect ease of travel with different types of terrain? Like different types of boots? I don't know about that. Do I remember what video they talked to AI? It's not the AI that they need to fix. It's the network that messes the AI up. So if you go back and you look at the engine talk, towards the end of it, they talk about server meshing. Server meshing is what's meant to relieve the server of all of the load that's making AI run bad. So you're looking for the server meshing panel. Check that out. Just hooked up your Tobii eye tracker. Game changer. Dude, that thing's amazing. I love it.
So, in summary, Frontier Fashion is expanding the visual design palette for humans, giving a more credible feeling of age and history when you travel across multiple solar systems. All right, now let's talk about something different. Now we're going to talk about some of the gangs in Star Citizen. So, Ninetales have been one of the main gangs in the game. So far, over 105 million have been taken out by you guys.
Dude, that's absurd. Like putting aside the fact that people are playing the game, obviously, that's still a lot of enemies to kill. Considering how difficult it is to play this game at times, and how, you could take a mission and your mission could be broken. I'm surprised that we've had that many killed, but then again, I don't know how long that's been counted over. Because there was a time when Ninetales weren't actually Ninetales, they were just called Ninetales. So are they talking about Ninetales after they truly became Ninetales a couple years ago? Or are they talking about Ninetales ever since they were called Ninetales 6 years ago? That's a big difference.
So you guys have been busy. Great job. All right. So it was like, all right, now we're going to need to introduce a few more factions to the game. Okay?
Well, so yeah, if there's 5 million players, then that's a huge success. But I don't think there are. I think there's almost 5 million accounts. I think a small percentage of that actually plays the game. But if the number is able to get that big, assuming 20 people each killed a Ninetail, or one person killed 20 each, then that's a pretty healthy player base for a game in this state. Either way, let's continue.
So the first faction we're going to talk about is Rough and Ready. So the aesthetic of the gang was to be subtle. They're understated in terms of clothing, and they almost blend into their environment. On closer inspection, you'll notice their tattoos. These signify rank and progression within the gang, Let's take a look at a quick video.
I think it's a really cool pouch to keep your pistol there. So, you know how I like to do this. Yo, Mr. Starting, thank you for the super chat. Been riding the hype train since citizencon. Thanks for all the content lately. We are all on this train together. It's good times. Because we like to do so, here are some tattoo concepts from 2017. Back when they wanted to do tattoos and they were talking about delivering, and obviously people would see them and they didn't show up, and so it was assumed they weren't going to happen, and then boom, sometimes it just shows up out of nowhere. Pretty late, but
I think they look absolutely fantastic. Okay, so the rough and ready can be found in some of the space stations around Pyro. Now the tattoos, like I said, the tattoos form a progressive design. This illustrates the hierarchy within the gang. As a player, you'll be able to earn these tattoos and apply them to your character. Okay, cool. The next gang we're going to talk about is Headhunters. So this gang is also located in Pyro, but offers a completely different frontier aesthetic. More of a wasteland vibe with lots of personality, and this will translate into the behavior types. Now this gang is currently in production, but let's take a quick sneak peek.
yeah, you know what? That's a good point in chat about the tattoos. It'll be good to see tattoos that aren't linked to the gang. You know, if those will be coming at the same time. For the most part, I think these guys look kind of generic. I think they look great. The details, the design, everything looks very great. But the gang themselves, their sort of style is a bit generic, which is fine, you know, kind of need that. You need your standard pirates, or you just need pirates of different flavors, really, since we already have Ninetales. Although, these are the Headhunters, they're going to be in Pyro. Have they ever shown any type of accessories, like earrings, rings, piercings? They've shown them. Not for players, though. They do have a bit of a Mad Max vibe.
Okay, so cosplay competition next year. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. All right. All right, so they're looking awesome. Now, the last gang we want to talk about is dusters. So dusters are a criminal gang specializing in mining-related crimes. Now, internally, I love the original Desert Nomad armor. You can see him here, right? Now, I wanted to use it as a starting point to establish the dusters design language. So here we can see...
These guys look pretty cool. Like, I would wear this for sure. So like, if I can run into a rare and take their armor, I'm good.
So here we can see the Dusters gang lineup, showing armor leveling and rarity. So as a player, you'll have horizontal armor progression. This will define your role and playstyle. Then you'll have vertical progression. This is your progression within that role and playstyle. For example, a common bounty hunter armor set will be weaker than a legendary, and as armor progresses in strength, it's harder to acquire. So harder missions, rarer drops, higher reputation. Now, as we're talking a little bit about armor sets, let's recap a little. So the goal is that players should consider which armor to equip based on the role they wish to fill and the scenario they're heading into. There will be also greater differences between the current armor types. So light, medium, and heavy, and this will be in protection and mobility. New armor categories will be combat, specialist, utility, and support.
So these like, just like these little things that they're, I mean, I'm at least hoping they're really starting to double down on, because they've gotten past that sort of engine, like they've gotten past the difficulty of the engine, and now they're really starting to look at actual game stuff. You know, what does an armor type look like? What does a outpost type look like? How do we change the outposts and keep their type, archetypes and stuff like that? Like, they talked about a lot more game stuff this citizencon, but when they talked about it, it sounded like there was actually legitimacy behind it. It wasn't just like a plan, like we want to do this, or this is the plan, or there wasn't a sense of it's going to be here. There's more a sense of like, we've been doing this behind the scenes and now we're just telling you, which has been nice. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing with all armor.
And these will define the type of items that are quickly available on the slots of the suit. There will also be additional functionality to assist in your chosen role. A matrix of armor type versus category will provide a variety of roles, with each providing best-in-class benefits. There will also be hindrances to out-of-role gameplay. For example, if you're wearing a heavy armor set and you're trying to fly a little snub fighter, you'll have restricted visibility and less vehicle control. So in this scenario, like a flight suit armor type with resistance to milder G-forces would be preferred. Okay. So as we saw in Ali's presentation yesterday, hygiene simulates and tracks the accumulated effects of a character going unwashed for any length of time. Poor hygiene can lead to disease, lowered health, and snarky comments.
All right, so tell me your feelings on this. We've known about this, but I think this is the first time they've talked about it on a wider scale. Hygiene. Now, I'm cool with it, as long as everything that is hygiene related factors into the same thing. If you have to like wash your hands and go to the bathroom and take a shower, and they're all different things, that'd be crazy. But I'm fine with it if, you know, it's like a generalized thing. And it's always made sense, you know. We were told that like mission givers, you know, they might say something about you if you come to them for a mission and you're not cleaned up. If there's somebody who's a little bit more fancy, might even not give you a mission. Just going to be a bit tedious. Hopefully not too much. Think it depends on the tuning. Yeah, as always, you know, if you're open to it, then it's more down to how specific they are with it. Strangers never give snarky comments when you smell. I don't think they're talking about strangers. I think they're talking about like the mission givers and the people that you're supposed to be reporting to. And it's probably less about smell and more like, oh, your armor's fucked up, or like, hey, you're bleeding. Maybe you should get that taken care of. I doubt they're gonna be like, hey, you smell like poop. I don't know if you could sell that in a game and make it sound good. There's a reason the shower is right above the toilets. True. Just clicking a button in your hab or on your ship and waiting for 30-second animation. Bro, you take 30-second showers? I'm a little faster than that, okay? I'm in and out. Just like that. It's totally not true. I take way too long showers. Makes me hope they have public baths and toilets on planet and such as well. You know, maybe they will comment on your smell. Kind of rude. But I would expect it to more come with, or was he specifically talking about hygiene? What's it called? No, I guess the whole thing is hygiene. So yeah, it includes blood and dirt and stuff. I think, you know, if they're not too heavy-handed with it.
Character going unwashed for any length of time. Poor hygiene can lead to disease, lowered health, and snarky comments. Hygiene decays faster if a character becomes dirty or wears dirty clothing or armor, and visual effects are going to be displayed on the character's skin, such as blood, sweat, and dirt. Certain usables, such as a shower, will reset the character's hygiene and clean away all of those dirt effects. So let's keep clean. Yeah. Okay, so that covers a quick recap on armor sets and hygiene. Let's get back to a video showcasing the dusters.
You know what I like about this video? I don't think they show the legendary character. Now that might be because the asset isn't done, but I'm kind of want to believe that they don't show him because it's so legendary and so it's just so you don't see it that often, you know? One person sees it maybe every month or couple months or something. That would be cool. True legendary. Sorry, y'all. I had to screenshot something there. Honestly, this armor, does anybody else kind of get Elder Scrolls Oblivion vibes from this? Maybe it's just like it's the shoulder pads or something? I don't know. For some reason, this reminds me of Oblivion. I like it though. Destiny 3. Yeah, this definitely gives me Destiny vibes. It's a cool looking faction. I'm bummed that they only really do mining related stuff. Hopefully they can get creative with that idea because I would love to see these guys more fight against them. So yeah, but the idea of going after different missions and running into different gangs is pretty cool. I love that when they do that in games.
Awesome. So you'll be able to find the dusters scattered around various derelict settlements and wrecks in Stanton, and the dusters will be available Q4 this year.
Hey! See now, that was also a nice change to this, right? You get to see these assets. They do all this, like they literally go through the whole thing. They show us like, where is it? Yeah, they show us the concept art, or I guess it's not concept art. They show us the pictures of it, the art, and then they show us like this nice video where it looks all clean and they're just standing there and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. But like when? And then they come out and they're like, it's coming in a month. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's great. And you know, we don't know what that means in terms of missions. Like I said, this could just be this faction coming in and replacing other enemies in missions we've already had. It's more than likely it, but it adds a lot of flavor to the game and it builds out Stanton a little bit more. So we got light, medium, and heavy armor sets. They're going to be located around derelict settlements. Yeah, so it looks like they won't be on missions. They'll just be in the game. And their armor will be specialized to the different categories. So I guess this will be their chance to test out categorized armor or something. Yeah, month is better than a year, better than 6 years. It's good stuff.
And with that, I'll hand you over to Sean Tracy. You guys have been awesome. Enjoy the rest of your show.
No, the only stuff that's coming at the end of the year is the stuff they specifically said. So not the UI stuff.
Hello, everyone. All right, so I'm Sean Tracy. I'm the Senior Director of Tools and Tech Content here at Cloud Imperium Games in Los Angeles. So today, I want to talk about Starcloth. And Starcloth was initially unveiled at a previous citizencon, kind of in an early stage. So it's now rolled into full production, and it's used in both Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. So it's going to be seen on more and more assets, like some of the great art that you just saw. So what's really cool about it is that it's unified with the physical world, whereas before, it wasn't unified and was based completely on character movement. Now, it's faster than the previous cloth setups, and in the end, it just looks a whole lot better. So today, I'm going to cover some of the tech, the pipeline, and we'll see some results. So let's get and see it in action. Trench coat. Cloth is hard. Guys have to run upstairs, they have to crouch, they have to prone. It's got to collide with the environment.
Starcloth. Now we looked at this. We just looked at this during that CitizenCon panel. CitizenCon cloth. Let's see if it pops up. Oh boy. No, it's just going to give me all the old ones, or the new ones rather. Oh, here we go. So, you know, they were working on this in a very prototype form,
yes,
as Sean Tracy said, and they were just kind of showing off what they wanted to get in engine. Now, obviously, we thought this would be in game sooner than it was, because they were showing stuff like this, you know, having it actually applied. This is the old Hurston armor. This is what it was going to look like. Very like dark. So they showed quite a bit of this stuff. A lot of the tech of how they were doing it. A lot of the tech they're about to show us again here. But this was like the beginning of the process, and I'm hoping this is the end, and that it comes in game, and it's functional and it's good, and you know, we're good to go.
And even more difficult, it needs to hold up in high-end cinematics. Cut that one just before some good spoilers, so. Yeah. All right, so how does it all work? Well, cloth uses two meshes, a simulation mesh or cage, and the render mesh itself. So vertex colors indicate how it's constrained to that cage, and thus the simulation. So for example, black vertex colors indicate a full constraint. Basically, it follows the skinning. White vertex colors indicate unconstrained vertices. So the movement is determined entirely by...
This looks familiar. Wait a second. I swear I just saw that slide. No, is it just it's just the modeling in game? It's like almost the same one though.
By the simulation. And then we can do a blend of gray values that is used for fine transitions and blending and fall off in between the fully skinned and fully simulated assets. So in the end, these meshes are sent to the engine where we bind the cage to the render mesh, and then tech artists can leverage some of the runtime tools. You can see up on the image that the sim cage mesh has about 5,000 triangles, whereas the actual render mesh is about 45,000 triangles. So it's obviously much more efficient to simulate the sim cage mesh versus just the render mesh itself. So part of the technology is the runtime iteration support, which you can see in the image above me here. That's with all the red spheres. Here we're actually painting the collision radius of every single one of the vertices. And
this would be that part of the monthly report in the engine section that I just kind of go over and don't know what they're saying. So I'm just going to let this one ride.
Allows us to fine-tune the simulation without having to add arbitrary collision meshes, though we can. We paint a variety of properties, so some of these other properties are mass or displacement. In the top right, you can see an example of the old legacy implementation using pendulums. And this uses joint chains and collisions, but assets with multiple layers like the one that you can see there, or ones like skirts or gowns, they were really, really difficult to do with pendulum simulation, but they are solved with StarCloth. So I mentioned it's completely unified with the physical world. And what that really means is that wind, impacts, object collisions, thruster backwash, all these kind of things actually react to the cloth reacts to these things, and so much more. So it's not just character movement. Now, it's a hyper-efficient simulation, and it's several orders of magnitude faster than the legacy implementation that we used before, and has a lot of easy-to-control parameters for tech art, which are compression, stretching, and bending. So as mentioned yesterday by Chris Rain, our senior lead physics programmer, we support soft-body tapered capsules, which are twice as fast as our ragdoll capsules. It's also key to solving one of the most important aspects of plausible cloth simulation, and that's mitigating the tunneling or the clipping that happens through a character. So it's very, very difficult to solve with pendulums. So with all this tech in mind, we can do really complicated assets like the duster and the one I want to show you now. So here you're seeing about 5 different layers of cloth going on and self-colliding between each other. It's reacting to the planet wind, which is always changing.
That looks cool. I would like to see this over a flight suit. I'd like to see if we could do flight suits with some kind of clothing or cloth on top. I think that'd be a nice combo.
On the front, there's a big leather apron. So this one's actually a lot heavier, and it moves a lot differently than the cloth on the back.
Yeah, the material difference is pretty cool.
So he's walking into the wind here.
I really do hope this can run on the servers.
As I mentioned, it just looks a whole lot better. So with that, I want to hand you off to my friend, Andre Piers, who's going to talk about hair.
And we have waited for hair.
Thank you, man. Hi, everyone. So, nice to be here in LA with all you guys. So I want to start with a question, okay? How many of you are actually excited that we're getting new hair into the verse? All right. So, I'm Andre. I'm the lead artist in our recently formed hair department. We branched out from the character art team and created this department. And it's a pleasure to be here today with all of you and tell you that we're damn proud of what we achieved. It's been a long road, but definitely worth it, okay? Now, we're going to start by just looking at the most impactful changes that we have in our workflow, okay? A bit of a technicality part. Then you're going to get to look at the benchmark assets we have created, okay?
How many games actually get hair right? You know what? I want to look something up real quick. You guys remember Heavenly Sword came out? And let me see. Heavenly Sword hair demo or something. I feel like Heavenly Sword came out and it was, people were blown away by the hair. Was that this game or was that a different game? What game was that? Impressive hair demo. I'm guessing it's gonna pull up some Unreal Engine. Yep. Let's see here. That's not Unreal. That's NVIDIA. In game. Nah, there was some game back in the day that came out and people lost it about the hair. It was the, oh my lord. What happened to chat?
There he is!
Yo, Twitch just popped off. Anna. That explains all the coops and the chicks in chat. Jesus. Anna, good to see you. How's it going? Hey, it's been a long while. Hope you're doing well. I hope I can see that you are doing well somewhere in chat. Let's see if I can isolate any text here. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome in. Good to see you all. Can we already got a shout out for Anna on there, folks, but as you can see, she's got quite the community. If you want to go join them for some good fun on another day, definitely go give her a follow. Check her out. She also is in Star Citizen, so like you may have already met her. She's the hologram in Microtech and weapons free, y'all. With the advocacy. So yeah, go check out her stream. She plays a lot more games than Star Citizen. Great person. Lovely podcast guest. Thank you for the raid. Really appreciate that. So I'm not going to be able to find this hair, I think. There's obviously it's like a really big thing because it full-on videos about who makes the best hair. So it's really cool to see that not only is Star Citizen getting some very good hair done, but they're doing it in an MMO where we can flap other people with our hair and show them how much time we spent in the character customizer to get those luscious locks. And I love that. Fantastic. I don't have luscious locks. I'm not going to slap anybody with my hair. But I'm so glad you guys can. That's just great. So, for all of you who are just joining us, that's what we're doing. We're talking about hair. We're talking about character customizer and all the new stuff that they're doing with characters and factions in Star Citizen. So if you want to hang out for a little bit, look into how we might look a little bit later, stick around. If not, that's cool. Thanks for coming anyways. Please drop the skincare routines. You're gonna have to go to Mrs. Tomato about that. To be honest, my skincare has been lacking lately, but she got me on the regimens that saved me for multiple years at a time. So I'm doing okay right now. Witcher 3 had crazy hair? Yeah, Witcher 3 had some good stuff. Geralt with his beautiful, his mane. Assuming you have hair. Hey, you know, we all have, I'm sure we all have the easy to grab wig whenever we need to, you know, feel like we got a little bit more hair. Sorry, that's a different side of tomato. We'll save that for another day. But I get you. I get you. Some of us are more shortly endowed. You like how I could just whip that out of the closet here? Sitting there, just ready to go. Yeah, it's itchy. Hello, Black Pilami. All right, let's get back into this. Let's talk more hair. Let's go. Tell me more.
And from there, we're going to take a glimpse into the future of what hair could be with a more diverse hairstyle, where we're trying to run away a little bit from the military look that was driven mostly by what Squadron 42 was. So because we did a lot of work for that as well. And yeah, from there, as a last note, I'll have a special announcement for you guys, okay? Don't want to spoil it, but you stick around, you're going to love what we have, okay? So.
Oh, you haven't seen this yet, Anna? Oh yeah, this is great stuff.
Okay. Hair for games.
Thank you for the super chat, Willie.
It's really hard. Oh, by the way, did I tell you these are actually game-ready assets in the persistent universe?
See, there's more of that theme. Announcing stuff right there, coming into the game immediately. I love it.
Okay, game-ready performance.
Toter, thank you for gifting that sub out to Anna. Appreciate you.
So, hair is really hard, like I was saying. It is a AAA challenge, basically. You see games that get it, games that don't. Some of them get it more or less. Either way, for us, the challenge is the same. We're not different, and the challenge is real. With the scope of Star Citizen, like day-night cycles, all these light shafts, all this MMO, people running around with the hairs, a lot of motion, a lot of fast-paced movement. Yeah, it is hard. But the best thing is, we have arrived, okay? It is, yeah, clap. It is, it doesn't end here, okay? Yeah. It does not end here, okay? It's the nature of CIG. We just keep pushing the boundaries, but like I said, we're really proud of what we're showing you here today. So let's dive in what we made all this possible, okay?
No, we also saw the dusters earlier. They'll be in the next patch as well.
Basically, a successful hair requires 3 fundamental elements, okay? There's the texture, there's the placement, and there's also the shader. If one of these elements fails, all of them do, okay? So it's basically, you can have a great texture, great placement. If your shader is wrong, no go, really. And the same if the texture fails or if the placement fails. So really vital, really important that everything works together. But the good thing is, by breaking down the hair into these 3 parts, it also allows us to actually go deep into each of them and push the quality up. Or like Chris Roberts would say, bring the high fidelity, right?
Fidelity.
So, on the texture end, there was a lot of changes. What you see on the top there, the common approach of a AAA game would be to have true black, true white on a transparency map.
That was muted. Do we have any AAA game hair developers in chat that can talk about this? Because I really would like to know. You know, I look at the hair that they came up with. You guys are about to see it. It's incredible. If you haven't seen this presentation, this stuff is seriously impressive. But it feels like this actually made a huge difference because it looks really like wispy at the end. And I just want to know from an outside perspective, if you build hair that top way that they're showing and how it usually turns out or what you try to do to get around that.
A bit of taper on the tips and roots and call it a day. That's what happens in 99% of the games. Now at CIG, we went a bit further than that. We tested all the thicknesses that were actually reasonable to test, of course, and we came to a realization. The hair doesn't need to be thin enough. It just needs to look thin. We do need it to be thicker enough, thicker than the real-life hair, because if you take one of your hairs, you'll see it's really thin, right? So it does need to be renderable. That means if it's really thin, it will be sub-pixel rendered at some point. With the motion and all that, we will get a lot of artifacts.
I'm asking for in chat who wants clarification, just the idea of this being the common approach. How common really is this? And are there actual drawbacks to this that you can see solved by this approach that maybe, is it just that other companies don't want to spend the money to do this? Does it take too long to do this? Like why does CIG have an approach that gives us such a great result that others don't? I'm always curious when I see somebody getting ahead in tech, how they were able to do that. And sometimes it's obvious, sometimes not so much. Love to hear from people in the industry who might have some insight into that.
And so that would be a no-go. We do need it to be thicker than in real life. But can we make it look thin? That was the question. So we came to the realization that from hair, or from scalp to hair, and from hair to the background, so these 2 points, the transition points, are the most important ones for the hair. So we aggressively tapered the tips, which is what you see over there, and added a gradient to it. So no longer true black and true white. Now, this is a lot of technicality. You will see practical examples of this, but that allowed us to have smooth transitions and basically achieve the result we expected. On the placement side, we came up with hair libraries, basically. Now, I could be here all day talking about hair libraries, okay? Because I'm a very technical person, and if you see me around the venue, feel free. I'm Andre. You can just come and talk to me about this. I'm not going to bother you all that for 1 hour about this.
Hello, Andre. Tell me about your hair libraries.
But
That's kind of
I'm going to
creepy.
give you a very quick example that you all can relate. So imagine in real life, you have a construction business and you could make one wall, one roof, one floor and one window. You make it all work together, and from there, you're not only building your house, you're actually building the whole town, and then the whole state, and then eventually the whole universe, right? That's what air libraries are. Obviously, the result, if you could do that, it would be much cheaper, much faster, and above all, you wouldn't have a fruit salad of assets, which was what we had in the hair not too long ago. And by fruit salad, I mean several artists working through the years, each one of them applying their own workflow. Everybody's at different levels of quality, of course, different minds, different ways of seeing the same problem. So at the end of the day, fruit salad, right? And we wanted uniform quality. So for that, air libraries are a great solution. We also decreased the time of production of hairs. So it was taking us 20 to 40 days to create one hairstyle per artist, okay? Right now, it's going from like 3 to 5, 7 days per hairstyle, which is that great news, okay? So yeah, that was major achievement.
Hey, Space Wombat, I see you in chat. Yeah, so they mentioned the cards. Where are we? We're 3210. Going back here, they kind of talked about their approach with the cards and stuff. Where is that? Oh, maybe they don't get into that yet? Where do they talk about that? They talk about how they went from a card to a spline instead to represent the card. And that sort of helped them get this approach. Hey, Chachi, how's it going? Can we get a shout out for Chachi Sanchez?
So, hair
it's good to meet you.
are just
Good to see you at CitizenCon, dude.
It's not just picking up a texture and putting it there. If you do that, like you need to actually see the scope. Gladly, we have some of the best artists in the world on hair working with us, so we managed to achieve this at the scope that we wanted. Now, on the shader side, there was plenty of changes as well. Some of them are very techy, very, very cool as well. I'm going to run through fast through some of them so you guys can understand the scope of what we're dealing with. But let's just understand, like at bake time, so bake time is prior to runtime. Runtime is where the game runs. Bake time, we're preparing the asset to actually put it in the engine. At bake time, we calculate the custom normal and we store it per vertex. So each vertex gets a custom normal. That makes, in a practical sense, for those who are not too technical, it basically makes the card, the air card, not look like a card. So the normals is help with the way the light reflects. We kind of do more smoke and mirrors on it and make it look not like a card by just baking it that way. Now, on the ambient occlusion, we store two baked ambient occlusions onto the color channels of the vertices as well. Now, each vertex on a mesh in any game has a color to it, okay? You might use it or not. Imagine in a car, you have a trunk. You can use it or not. It's up to you. It's not silly to use the car without using the trunk, of course, but if you have a luggage, you can put it there or in the back seat, wherever you want. Now, we decided to use this because it was free. The trunk was already there, so the vertex color was already there, and we just decided to store two ambient occlusions on it. These two ambient occlusions work this way. Light hairs, like a blonde hair, obviously needs more shadowing, or less shadowing than a dark hair, right? And so we store two. The length of the card is now baked onto the last one, and that gives us a metric of where the card starts and ends, and allows a lot of cool things you're going to see on the videos I'm about to show. So, one last thing before we can start looking at videos is that, and this is really creative, total credit for the people, for the tools programmers. I personally had nothing to do with this. This was already at CIG when I joined. It's absolutely amazing. So, we have an hairstyle that was ready, that you can see over there. And we have a hair cap. An hair cap is basically a mesh on top of the character's head, which is invisible, transparent. It is just there. Sometimes we use it for shadowing. That thing has an UV. And so we project the hair, or where the hair starts, onto that UV, and gives us that image that you see on the middle, right? And so we now have a 2D space that relates to a 3D location. Meaning that if I want to have hair like mine, which is white on the sides and dark on the top, I could just paint this part and get it white on one side and then dark on the top, which is an insane advancement because cards normally are stacked on top of each other. So when an artist is placing cards, if you paint one card to make it white here, well, it's going to be stacked on top of the other and you're going to get spots all over the place and no control over it. So this allows us to give control. And what you see on the last image is the possible results. For example, now I can paint one side of my 2D representation of my 3D space and get this possible result, which is pretty amazing. So next video, we're going to take a look at our tools, okay? This is not the way it's going to be exposed to you guys in the character customizer. You'll know more about that later, okay? This is the tools we use we are able to actually create the hairstyles. So let's take a look at this video. You have the full range, so you can go for full white. These are melanin ranges, so realistic ranges. Fully white up to black. Obviously, you can go redhead as well. Get out of the way. You also have the dye feature, where you can see all the things we talked about implemented. You can go a bit more wild on this. And this is why important, the length of the card is stored in those vertexes. And obviously you can fade it as well as much as you do. So all the possible combinations between the realistic melanin ranges and the dye layer, okay? This is how the occlusion is working, so you can see these shadowings, creating more negative spaces, more structure to the hair.
Yeah, the shadow is really something.
If you look at the temporal line here, you can see how this pixel depth of set helps us with the transitions as well. Cool. By the way, did I tell you these are actually game-ready assets, ready to go to PU?
See now, he says that quite a few times during this demo, and I really don't know exactly what he means. I don't know if, because is he saying that the whole thing, all the coloring, they did not confirm that the character creator was coming in this year. But they did confirm that, he keeps saying these are game-ready assets. So I'm like, so then we can change our hair color. Is that what he's saying? Two-tone hair is going to be in the game this year? Because that would mean that the character creator would have to be there, right? It's kind of confusing, the messaging on this part, but we can debate it, I guess.
So now that we understand
he literally said they're coming in the game.
a bit better how the hair is working, that's why the boring part that I told you just before, you can examine these images with a bit more of an informed opinion. That is basically the example. Now,
Character creator 2023-22, don't see how it's confusing? I mean, if you can give me the timestamp where they say that, then I will agree it's not confusing. But until then, I haven't heard them say it, but I would like to.
that's all very exciting, but we want to show you hairstyles that are actually in Star Engine and working. So that's the video we're going to take a look next, okay?
This is one of their good songs. Somebody needs to do a comparison of these assets with the... Because I feel like these are haircuts that we already have in game. A lot of these. Maybe not this one, but some of those other ones. I like this. I like this hair. I mean, it looks really freaking good, especially like the contrast. It's the shadowing that freaking gets me. It looks deeper, you know, it looks like softer. Yeah, the Karen haircut's gonna be a go-to, I think for sure. Like top combat trooper haircut. Doesn't get in your eyes. Want to ask even more performance-wise? I was actually sitting next to one of the guys who works on the engine, Sylvan. He does like a lot of the Gen 12 rendering stuff. And he leans over to me during one of these panels and he's like, we free up more engine power so the game runs better. And they do this. It's like, that's how batteries work, right? We get better battery tech and then everybody makes everything use more power. They've done this countless times by adding or removing stuff from the release schedule. Are you saying they've never done it? I'm sure there are thousands of people who can verify what I'm saying. That'd be helpful. I'm not saying they've never done it. I don't remember them ever taking anything off committed, but I think it's important to know that that's something that I would want to be able to express whenever I'm talking about the roadmap, because when I see things as committed, I start telling people they're going to come in. If there's a example of that not being the case, since they've changed it up, then that'd be good to know. Does anybody remember that when the Hull C was committed, but they took it off? Or maybe they moved it to another patch? Does the hair get wet in water though? Nope. Perpetually dry hair. It's actually a specialty. It's a feature. Always dry. How about we fix game and make it run good, then add this? Blurg, I would like to point you towards our engine panel we did earlier this year. These people are focused more on hair. The people who are focusing on fixing the game and making it run good already did their presentation. They spent about an hour and a half talking about the different things that would help optimize the game. Mainly server meshing is a big one, but they're talking about things like DLSS and obviously Gen 12 optimizations and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'd look out for the Star Engine panel. New hair stuff will be updated with this new tech. Next update on the current hairstyles, but the newer styles will take a little longer. Yes, they have, some is going to come now, some is going to come later. Or at least it's scheduled for that. Is the hair gonna float in 0G? See, okay. That would be pretty nuts. Did it with the Starfarer refueling as well back in 2018. They had it on a list and removed it and took several years before they did it. Yeah, they've changed the roadmap since the Starfarer when they're refueling. So I would say since they changed the roadmap to the whole committed, what is it called? How do they do it? Temporary or something? Or tentative? Ever since they changed to this style, tentative versus committed, if they have taken one of these ones that was seen as committed and moved it to a different patch, that's a pretty big deal. I don't remember that happening, but if it happened with the Hull C, somebody please confirm. You feel like they're adding all these really high quality, graphically costly tech like hair tech to prepare to sell their engine in a few years. People have theorized that they'll sell their engine. It's, you know, it could be something they want to do. Maybe they want to keep it to themselves. I don't know. I've had many people tell me they won't, but you never know what changes over time. They are designing the engine for the next gen of PC parts, so it's still relevant. Yeah, I mean, the game's a future game. Maybe it was tentative. Yeah, that would make a difference for sure. I mean, they've moved tentative stuff. Financially irresponsible not to sell the engine. Yeah, but then you have to deal with people. Yeah, that's so much, you know? They spent so much time building this, it would kind of suck if they just started letting other people build stuff on it immediately. Give it some time to breathe. Ah, people.
Great, guys. So I can see by your feedback that you really enjoyed the die, so I'm going to try and direct things that way next time.
Amadeus, I can't tell you that I know my in the sense that I've developed engines, but I've talked to a lot of people about this engine at this point. And their engine is trademarked. This is a branch off. They've changed it to the point where it's not Lumberyard anymore. It's not Lumberyard, it's not CryEngine. It's kind of like how Creation Engine is Gamebryo. And Bethesda has the right to allow others to use Creation Engine. Now again, I don't know everything, so I can't tell you with 100% fact that that's the case, but that's the same sort of relationship it seems to be taking.
Pretty cool. Okay, yeah, these are game-ready assets as well. Now, like I promised you, we're trying to make this diverse and get away a little bit from this type of hairstyles you just seen now, which is a bit more military. And for that, we'll have the next video. Now, it's important for you to understand if there's any 3D artists, character artists, air artists out there, you will know. Some of the hairstyles you're going to see next are some of the hardest things you can do in hair for games. In a practical sense, if you can do what is going to be shown next and render it at 60 frames per second on an MMO, you can do pretty much anything. Okay? It's our glimpse into the future of what type of diversity we want to achieve. We're not only going for this style, but just showing you that if this style is one of the directions, then the full range will come. I hope you enjoy.
So this was actually, I was very sad that I didn't get to see this. I had to walk out for an interview right as this was coming up. So I missed this all. And I was super excited, but then I got to see it a little bit closer, and I do realize that there's still some work to be done here on this hairstyle. But I'm glad to see that they're focusing on it, and I'm really glad to hear that they're going to continue to develop it and make it, you know, correct in terms of texture and curl. But this is really freaking awesome to see. I've been waiting for this kind of stuff a long time. Yeah, it looks really good. Like, it already looks great. I think they've done fantastic work on it. It's better than any other game I've seen, I think, in terms of this hairstyle. And I can't wait to see how they improve it.
Thank you, guys. So yeah, like I've been saying, these pictures you see here, they are all rendered as you've seen in real time, depending on the light conditions and stuff. But there is no tricks here. This is actually how it looks. And that's why we're really proud. Like I said, it doesn't end up here, okay? We're pushing this forward. This is just to replace the stuff that was there. I'm pretty sure you guys were tired. Nobody at CIG was happy with what we had. I can assure you that. Yeah. Especially as an artist, right? So, but we finally arrived. Now, we've seen all this. What does this mean in a practical sense for you guys? It's the question you may have. Well, let me tell you really fast. We made over 75 hairstyles since like 6 months ago. On the last 6 months, we made 75 hairstyles. That is a lot. That was possible with all the changes we made. Yeah. Yeah. That is a great achievement. Now, we cannot hand them all to you right now. It's very simple. It's very simple. It doesn't end up here at the artist end, okay? After this, there's a tech art pass where they need to skin it. They need to make it work with hats, with goggles, with everything that needs to work, right? So it's a process that takes time, but we wanted to have a certain amount, a quantity that would be enough to replace all the stuff that it's there, give you enough variety for you to start, and that's what we're going to see next. Now, it also tells you when are you getting it. So, as a last note, I'll leave you with this video, and next, Forrest will come here to talk about this stuff. So, let's take a look at this, guys. This is actually what you're getting. Into the PU.
Yo, that last one. Oh my gosh, look what they've done with this over here. Wow. Look at the detail of that hair. Okay, but in all seriousness, these do look good. These look great. So not just game ready asset, they are confirming that these will be coming in the next 2 months. But that's just that first set of hair. It's not all of the hair we saw.
These hairstyles. It was a pleasure to be here.
So yeah, that answers it. It's just these styles. We did not see the duotone style. So that stuff won't be coming in. It's just the new hairstyles themselves. Come on.
You're
There
all
we
going
go.
to get to enjoy these hairstyles. It was a pleasure to be here with you today, guys, and see you in the bus.
No, I think the beards come
Another
later.
round of applause for Andre and getting new hairs into the game. I can't wait to put new hair on my character, I'll tell you that. And for Ian and his awesome character team and the amazing characters they showed us earlier. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to run through this. We don't have a lot of time. I'm going to talk to you about character heads. We've talked about hair. We have talked about outfits. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the heads and our pipeline and getting us from the actors that we hire to do the photogrammetry all the way to the game characters. So we have a DNA pool, expansion, and customization I'm going to be taking you through. We made a data-driven pipeline for adding new heads. So what is a DNA pool? DNA pool is just a bunch of heads that we put into the game. That way you can modify the ears, the nose, the chin, the mouth, and you could interpolate between all the different heads. A DNA pool. We want to expand the pool and allow for more selection and range. So we scanned 60 new heads for our DNA pool. 60 new heads.
Now,
And
you
we
might be
processed them
wondering, okay, 60 heads, but what does that mean in context? He's going to show you in a minute. It's pretty impressive.
Internally. We also added customizable facial features, skin tones, complexion, makeup layer on top, revisited the eyes. These characters look new and they look great. All right, so our current pool, there's the 18 heads right there, but that wasn't enough. We need more. That is our new pool.
That's pretty nuts. Like, they really did expand it out. And it seems like a really wide variety of like face types of people and shapes and details and frowns. Very cool to see how much they're adding into the customization though.
Very exciting. Right now in the PU, when you're playing, see that center row? You get 9 females and 9 males. And now we're going to be getting all these characters. It's for Squadron and the Persistent universe. How do we do it? Well, we partnered with Clear Angle over in Pinewood, London. And they have this thing called the Clear Angle Dorothy scanner. The scanner improvements allows us to get shoots done in 4 weeks of sessions. Custom coded flash that just kind of does it automatically, all calibrated in seconds. To give you an idea, our old process for doing this took hours to calibrate. This thing does it in seconds. Talk about state of the art. Average of 4 scan actors per day now. We used to be doing 1. What this means to you is we can get you characters faster. We can get you new heads faster. Polarized image data resulted in improved spec, blah, blah, blah. Those are awesome texture maps that we can put on the head. That way we can render them, make them look really good. Photogrammetry captured in raw images at 8K texture map resolutions. Hyper accurate scan results. Now,
yeah, so guys, if you are sensitive to light or flashing, please close your eyes for this part. It's going to be a lot of cameras going off.
Close your eyes if you're a little sensitive to light. This is the process we use to get the pictures, to build the photogrammetry, to calibrate the cameras.
Still going. All right, flashing should be done, guys. Oh, wait. Sorry, one more. Sorry.
All right.
Nope,
so
that's
there
not
we
it.
got some characters here on the screen.
All right, can we real quick, we don't need to get into this. I'm going to stop this right now in chat. Can we not talk about customizing our characters and try and make it political? It's weird. Don't do that. It's normal to like want to color your hair. Please. Customization of a character is completely normal.
Those are all built using all these things that I've briefly mentioned. I want to talk to you a little bit about skin tone though. Skin tone's tricky because we want to apply it. We want to be able to customize it. We want you to have the ability to do whatever you want. So what you see is some really weird looking characters. We see a head with some yellow. Yellow's good in this case. What we're trying to do is we're trying to find the average skin color.
This is a freaking cool way to do skin. I didn't even think about this.
We can figure out what that skin tone is, and then we can apply it. The blue means it's further away from the average skin tone. So when you apply your skin tone, it has less influence, keeping those high details, keeping the color, the blemishes, the imperfections. That middle one, that whitehead, that's where we get once we've extracted the data. It's now ready to apply the skin tone, which you see at the end.
It's so detailed.
All right, so here's a little more detail what I'm talking about. We knew that we were going to get a pool for these heads, this pool of all these different awesome shapes, noses, ears, lips, But now, with what we're doing currently, you can see that we have calibrated all of our source photos of our actors. And with that, we could figure out exactly what they're supposed to look like. And then once I extract and do the average thing, I'm able to get a value. And that value translates into a skin tone. And that skin tone translates into a chart that you can customize your character with. And what's great about this is as we grow our pool and we get more heads, we get more skin tones. So our skin tones aren't based on, whatever it should be. What should it be? What does it look like? These are real data. These are real data that we get from these incredible clear angle scans and the incredible tech that is written by our staff. And the skin tone will grow along with our head data and along with our heads. And there's an example of me just applying it and showing that in practice. And now here's another look. Here's a couple more characters that I put together with this stuff. And here's what's great about that. I did that with our brand new character creator, character customizer for Squadron 42.
Yeah, see, he says for Squadron 42. I hate that.
Head you see in here, which will also be applied to the persistent universe, so all heads are in the verse. And as you can see right here, here's a little scene I put together using the outfits, using the hair, using the skin, using the heads. And I did that all with the new character creator. And here to show you that, it's a live demo of the character creator, I'm going to bring back my good friend Sean Tracy.
Thanks, buddy. Oh, it's awesome. All right, so what's this all mean to you guys? Let's show ya. Time for live demo. All right, so I want to welcome you to the Biotic Corp Calliope machine.
Kind of a bummer there's no
All right, so here you can
like body shape customization, but it makes sense for the for animations and stuff. I don't think we'll be able to change the shape of our body too much in terms of like height or weight or anything like that.
see we've got the whoa, I'm getting feedback. You can see we've got two body types that I can select from at any point in time. So we're going to start in right away. Now, you might recall how the character creator currently works. You would have a whole bunch of source heads from our DNA pool. We would select one of the facial shapes, and then we'd blend it up or down, depending on how much you wanted that certain facial shape. Now, this
I
was pretty
still
good,
like this
but
method,
it's not the
so I'm
most
glad they're
intuitive
keeping
of
it.
systems. So instead, what we wanted to come up with was a much more intuitive way to control this. And what we've now introduced is sculpting mode. So it's quite interesting to know what's going on behind the scenes. And this wasn't an easy problem to solve, but our animation programmers and tech artists and everybody came together, and they figured out a way to basically make it so that from the DNA pool, we are making a selection based on what you want out of it. So it's going on between all the different options. Now, I'm going to start making some changes here right away. So I want to widen up the nose.
Is this a thing? Is like the whole sculpting thing? I haven't seen that before. Is that something that goes on with other game content character creators?
You can see that it's all very intuitive. It's fast to use. I'm going to make the lips a little bit bigger here. There we go, something like that. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to adjust the brow here, maybe make a little bit of a heavier brow. Now, we can adjust the eye shape. We can go more almond eyes. We can go more oval. We can have a heavy lid. You know, I can find a whole bunch of different options within here.
Generally, it's just MMOs that do this. What do you mean by Sims? Like,
so here,
like
pretty good. I
like
give
The
him a
Sims,
little
the
bit
game?
More of a hero chin. There we go. I'm liking that. Yes, that's cool. All right. So
Black Desert Online does this.
Much time on that. I want to show you some of the other features. And speaking of features, we go to our skin tone. So finally, you're not just selecting a preset.
Pretty
skin
interesting.
tone.
I have it's a really cool way of character customization.
This is melanin and hemoglobin at the same time. So at the very top of it, I've got a texture slider. So instead of the whole head sort of selection, we can go between all the different textures. Now, like Forrest mentioned, we're going to have 30 of these for one body type and 30 for the other body type. So here, I'm kind of liking, what am I like? Oh, I like this one. So here, and I'm just going to set a skin tone that I kind of like. Something like that. That's cool. All right, so the next step in our skin tone is the complexion. And complexion, we've added freckles.
This is awesome. This is something that really bummed out Mrs. Tomato as somebody who loves and works the freckles. In Starfield, they don't let you have them, which was actually really weird to see. So this was like a really, oh, yep, there she is in chat. Freckles! Yeah. This was like, it's just, I don't care, and I think this is kind of my problem. Can I just get up on my soapbox for a second here, guys? All right, I just loves the freckles. We love your freckles. I actually meant to say just works, but I also said loves. Just a little soapbox moment. The person who was just in YouTube chat who was talking about how do we really need blue hair and purple hair and politics and stuff. I think we can all agree that Star Citizen is not being built for us, right? And when I say us, I mean each of us individually. This game is not made for me or you or anybody in this chat, yeah? It's made for literally every person who loves a space game. Chris Roberts set out to make an amazing space game, and the more options that he can give for people to want to enjoy that in their own way, the better. So, like, forget about the whole drawing lines for how much we can customize our characters. Freaking freckles, sunspots, all right? I want to be able to customize my dandruff, dude. I love this stuff. I like that they're building this thing so robust. Yeah, it's a lot of time. Yeah, it's a lot of money. But this is an MMO, and it's going to be a freaking long MMO. Let people enjoy it.
So here I'm just blending in and I'm blending out the amount of freckles. Now I've cranked it all the way to the top just so you guys can see it. But for my character here, I'm going to keep it kind of subtle, like this, but quite a few of them, something like that. We've also got sunspots. Now this is, a little more weathered skin. We'll give this sort of look. And we've got a whole bunch of different blemish masks planned for you guys, whether that's sunspots or liver spots or anything to that effect.
I'm not going to lie, I love the details of this is always a thing in game. I always see all the weird things you can add to your face that technically are like health. I don't even know what to call it. Degeneracy, like things that are opposed to health. Specifically things like sunspots and I guess liver. I don't actually know what liver spots come from. But do liver spots just come from having a bad liver? I don't actually. As a kid, I always thought liver spots were called liver spots because they looked like livers. And then I realized that it can't be that everyone just knows what livers look like. There must be a different reason for that. But yeah, aging mechanics have always been something that I stay away from, but I think it's really cool because you can make just like this super badass veteran person who like acts like the youngest person out there. Yo, Stakargord, you're the best. You're the best. This community is the best, honestly. Like, I'm gonna invoke Mrs. Tomato again. The game, all this stuff we saw, everything all the panels and stuff. The game is freaking sick. All right, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who are here just for the game, but those who are here for the community, like she said, that was the best part of CitizenCon. I love the game, I really do, but being at CitizenCon, meeting everybody, getting to hang out with folks, and like sharing the joy of it all was easily the best part. So the community is the best, and seeing the community happy is honestly, I like that a lot more. I'll wait a couple extra years if the community is happier. Like, take 2 years on Squadron, guys. Let's get what we want. Let's get what we waited for.
This guy kind of a weathered look because I think the skin tone looks pretty cool like that. Yeah, I'm digging that.
Sorry, I'm off
All
my
right,
soapbox.
so next up, eyes. So no longer do we have the green and the brown, just the full selection. You've got a full RGB chart of what you want to select. So if you want to have bright green eyes, if you want to have hazel eyes, if you want to have blue eyes, if you want to have any of these eyes, this is all very, very nice. So again, we can go with deep browns.
I want no pupils. Can I do that? Just white orbs.
Digging for this skin tone. I quite like that look. That's cool. Oh, well, we'll get into some funky colors. Don't you worry. All right. So one of the other things we've added, and it was mentioned before, we've added a makeup layer.
Hey.
And with the makeup layer, we're totally inclusive. Any of the body types can have makeup.
Why didn't Sean do a little bit of touching up on tutorials for this part? Why didn't he go on YouTube? You know, do a little looking around, do some practice. Come on, Sean. I wanted to see what he could pull out.
Now, I don't want to spend too long on it here because we're going to get into it.
You know, I bet you he's actually really good. And he's in front of everybody. So he's like, you know, I'm not going to take too long on this. It's not that important. Yeah, it's whatever. Meanwhile, like the other devs are like, yeah, they don't know Sean spent 2 weeks working on this part of it. That'd be so funny.
In a couple minutes. But I just want to show you sort of blending that in, blending that out for this particular body type. So next, as Andre talked about, we have all the hairstyles that you could want.
No heterochromia or tetrachromacy. That's different colored eyes or different colored pupils. Interesting. That is a good notice.
So
I'm not gonna lie. While this character creator is awesome, there are some like little things from other creators that aren't in there. You win some, you lose some, I guess.
Just gonna pick a couple different ones. There's a reality for some of us.
Your auntie has the tetra one?
For another one of us, there it is. That's what I want my reality to be here. Something like this. I'm digging my reality.
Yo, this dude looks real pretty with that hair. What?
To be here. Something like this. I'm digging the mohawk though for this one. He's got a bit of a Mr. T look.
But yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like when I was mentioning earlier, the whole thing with the ends of the tips of the hair, this is like, it looks so fluffy and soft. I love that detail. I hope it looks like that when we're actually playing.
Yeah, I pity the fool. All right. So it might go without saying that we've got beards now. So if you want to select a full beard, you can select a full beard. If you want just mutton chops, you got your mutton chops. You want your handlebar, you got your handlebar. All right. So we've got all the different beard types that you could want, and we're going to add as many as you guys really want. So I'm kind of digging the full beard for this guy. Yeah, I'm digging the full beard for this guy. Even further to that, we've got eyebrow selection, which is, I mean, you could go with no eyebrows. That's a very real. You could have bushy ones. You can have a little bit more, normal, kind of straightforward ones. But it was mentioned before during the hair and with Forrest's discussion that we've got the hair dye as well. So with the hair dye, you can affect all the hair at once. And right now, I've got all selected. So I can go through the gamut of all the different hair melanin that you can set. So here, I'm just going to darken it up a little bit. And if I wanted to dye the facial hair, I could just dye the facial hair all by itself. Setting a dye color here. Something like that. But in the end, I'm really digging the jet black on this particular one. So I'm going to frost these tips a little bit. I think that's going to look kind of cool. Let's set a bit of a blonde here. Turn up the dye amount. And then what's really cool about this, and I'll show this in a minute, is that we can actually control the fall off of it. So again, if I just want this on the tips,
yeah, that's okay. See, now
that
I've never really thought I wanted to do that until I saw this, and now I'm like, I'm gonna get a blonde tipped fro, because we've been wanting to do my hair blonde actually for a little while, but we haven't gotten around to it. Now I can trial it out in Star Citizen. Unfortunately, this will probably not come to us faster than I can do that to my hair. So, but this is really cool. I love the idea of being able to like change the hair in different areas and stuff. Wonder how many ways you can do it. Can I like have 6 different colors? Like a pie chart of colors down my head? Would that be weird? Would you guys still hang out with me? Is that okay? I know that one guy that was in chat wouldn't. Just a tip.
So there we go. He looks a lot different than how that started, and I think that's actually
I definitely
pretty
want
fun. Now,
froze.
there's a lot of stuff in here, and I can't wait for you guys to explore it and spend as much time as you want customizing and expressing yourself as a character. So once you're done, you've got to sign off a personal declaration that the physical appearances that the calliope process has allegedly caused are okay with you. So let's go to our next body type. All right. So I'm going to go to town here real fast, right away. And you might think it looks a little off or so, but I don't know. We're going to get there. Let's make some changes here. I'm going to adjust the bridge of the nose, maybe a little bit of the cheekbones here. That's maybe a little extreme. Let's go back here, something like that. And I'll make the lips
froze fit in helmets. I ride a motorcycle with the fro all the time.
a little bit smaller here, and I'm going to lengthen that chin for a little more of a triangle kind of face here. So you can see, you can tweak to your heart's content. You can spend a lot of time doing this. And I don't really like the brows. So I like a little bit softer of a brow for this particular character.
Calliope is the name of the character creator.
So next, just like we did before, we go into features. We can do the skin tone. I'm going to select a certain texture here just because we got to get going on time here. Let's go. Something around here is looking pretty good to me. Cool.
For everybody who's wondering, because this actually does come up sometimes, afro doesn't actually have to be that tall. It's really just off the top of the head, not a buzz cut. You could have like a 1 inch, 2 inch, 10 inch. Really, it changes. So yeah, like you have a 3 inch afro, you wear a helmet, now it's a 1 inch afro. Calliope is also a moon, yes, but Calliope was a person's name first. So it was a name. It's been used for a lot of things throughout the lore, like moons and character creators and probably bombs or something.
All right, we go into the complexion the same way that we did before. So we start with the freckles. And I kind of like a real freckled appearance on this particular character. And I'm going to turn down the sunspots. So we move forward to the eye color again. Ooh, I'm really digging the green. Yeah, I like the green kind of look. And we get to the makeup. Now, this is where I wanted to spend more time. Now, I'm arguably not very good at this, but I will do my absolute best to show you guys how you can use it. So first is the eyeliner. So the eyeliner, we can do any color. You can go as crazy or as chill as you want to go with this. But for this particular, I'm going to go quite dark here.
He tries. He does. Yeah, he set her eyes so far apart.
Here, we'll do in the inner lid eyeshadow.
But you know what? That's a thing. That happens. That's
theme,
okay.
I think. Yeah, and we're going to do the same thing with the broad eyeshadow. So again, we can go as crazy or as calm as you want.
He goes heavy.
What I've had good success in doing is kind of having it cranked, and then I just pull it back to
it does still look realistic.
of a natural blend, something to this effect here. Next is the lips. We can do the exact same stuff on the lips. Now, what we have is a whole bunch of different makeup masks, and you've got 3 different channels within those masks. So basically 3 different colors that are affecting different areas of it. Now, for the lips, we can go with the same sort of theme if we wanted, and I think I'm actually kind of digging that. And let's go on the lip liner, a little darker. And then lips are a lot more glossy, so we can increase the gloss there. So
the blending isn't between real faces anymore, because you can do sculpting. He constructed this face by dragging and by grabbing and dragging. He didn't do the DNA blending.
Lip gloss. Yeah, that looks pretty cool there. And then, like I was doing before, I kind of just pull it back a little bit. And there we are. So next, I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. I have no business doing that, that's for sure.
Oh, really? The sculpting isn't custom?
Same thing on the hair. Again, we've got a whole bunch of different hairstyles. These will all be shared between the two body types.
I see. That's my bad, guys.
Demo. We've got the ponytail. We've got the slick back kind of look. Yeah, I'm not finding one I'm really digging yet. All
right, guys. I get it.
Yes, now we're talking. All right, so cool. Now, again, we're fully inclusive here, guys. So if you want facial hair on any body type,
dude, this hair
you
works.
got facial hair on
You
any
don't even
body
notice
type.
the eyes.
That is up to you guys.
I could probably do a little bit better with the makeup.
So on the eyebrows, I'm just going to leave them because we can't really see them anyways. But for the hair, I really like dyeing this hair a certain color, sort of, you know, something in the darker range. I'm going to turn that down. I like the nice jet black. Look at the makeup bounce out. That looks cool.
Yeah, it looks better.
I'm going to turn up the dye, though, and I'm going to try to carry my same theme forward here. There we go. And then I'm going to give it a bit of a fall off. As we can do.
Okay, every time he does this, I'm like, cyberpunk. We're cyberpunk
so
now.
Let's see that in action.
That's freaking sick.
Yeah. All right. So now, you know, at first, we weren't sure about that character, right? But in the end, I think she turned out, definitely. So you go to a review, sign off your declaration again, and head to game. So, you know, I'm really lucky to be able to sit in front of this. And again, it was a huge amount of work from tech art, engineering, designers, and specifically the squadron feature team that has done all this work. And one of the cool things to note is that we use this now internally as a tool. That's why it's me up here demoing this. This is our tool internally for creating all these heads, for creating all the NPCs in the verse. Because as Chris put it one time, he doesn't want his NPCs to look lame. He wants them to look cool. And this gives you cool looking characters. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, the character creator is pretty sick. This is so much better than what we have now. I didn't even realize the sculpting was going between the hairstyles. I thought that was the different faces. I thought that was a completely different thing. So yeah, I mean, there's obviously no mention of when this might be coming in. Whoa. My chair just started leaning way too far back. What? Oh no. I can't stay leaning forward. There we go. Yeah, this is way better than we're getting, but it doesn't look like we're getting it soon. So can't wait for NPCs to have this over you having it. Yeah, I mean, that's the best part, is this is what they use to just make all the other NPCs too. Dark dystopian, cyberpunk, and Blade Runner cities with rain. Yeah, this is cool. Need rain, we do for sure. Bro, what is with people coming in here and talking about politics, dude? Can you guys relax? Oh my god. It's kind of wild. These people are so weird, man. Like, we're literally talking about a character creator. Like the actual whole point of an MMO, a role-playing game. And people are like, it's political. Dude, what? Yeah, it's a YouTube chat. People have some like, people have problems that they really try to push on other people. Oh man. So yeah, I think this looks really good. I think the character creator itself is way better featured. It looks like it's gonna support a lot more of like just being able to create a person you actually are excited to look at. I don't even spend time in the character creator. Do you guys? I don't spend time partially because it gets wiped, but I also don't spend time a lot because I just never get a good person out of it, you know? So yeah, this looks like something that is easier to use, but also has a little bit more quality assets. Like, I'm the kind of person who needs you to hold my hand so that I don't make an ugly looking person in these games, because I always mess things up. So I like what this looks like. the hair stuff is cool. It's unfortunate that we'll get some of it. We'll get this stuff in game. So here are the hairstyles that we're going to actually get in game this year. Just press random. Yeah. YouTube has to be bad if Twitch chatter is saying how toxic it is. Hey, it was good to meet you, Sharkbite. Happy to sign a Pico. Always happy to sign a Pico. Entitlement will have people believe devs should only work on things they care about. Seriously, and anything else is like, even if something is political, it ain't your game. Top left one is literally CR's hair. This? I don't know, this, I'm kind of getting more Todd Howard vibes from this. Is this Chris's hair too? Is that weird that Todd Howard and Chris Roberts might have the same haircut? That's a very, I'm not gonna say they don't create games differently now. Where's the lady cuts? So the other set of, I was getting to that. The other set that we will be getting this year are right here. So, it's, I mean, it's nice. This is a good amount of cuts. What is this? 18, 10, and this is 10, and this is 10. So we're getting 20 cuts. That's not bad, but we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for stuff like this. Obviously, we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for stuff like this. The more intense hair stuff probably is coming next year. Have I seen Todd and Chris together in the same room? I haven't. That's a good call. Good point. The rock and roll men. Yeah, I mean, that's like Tony Z. I mean, we gotta allow Brian Chambers to have his hair in game, right? That man's hair. Scared to ask. The hairstyles look really good. Here's them in motion again if you guys missed them. Cuts are not tied to body type. So yeah, this hair looks fantastic. There's also, as somebody mentioned in chat, we also got to see cloth tech. So this is not so much character creator. This is more kind of, I mean, we covered a lot today. But this is a look at the updated cloth tech that we were seeing years ago in prototype. Now, I think ready for game. I'm not really sure, you know? They showed us the prototype. What does this update mean though?
Coat. Cloth is hard. Guys have to run upstairs, they have to crouch, they have to prone, it's got to collide with the environment. And even more difficult, it needs to hold up in high-end cinematics.
Look at it glitching out. It still needs some work. Like, there's a lot of unnecessary movement in this. You can kind of see. Look at that. It's like flapping around when there's nothing really happening. This is still a work in progress. It looks way better, but they still need to work on it. This, I think, it looks much better because there's actually really, really heavy wind. So the what's it called? The deformation makes a lot more sense. But I also like somebody was mentioning in chat that this kind of makes the leather look like leather with the wind, which is kind of cool.
Cloth going on and self-colliding between each other. It's reacting to the planet wind, which is always changing. On the front, there's a big leather apron. So this one's actually a lot heavier, and it moves a lot differently than the cloth on the back.
I know the wind is in the Bishop one. It just keeps bouncing against itself and stuff. But the wind does make sense there, you're right. I think this is the best scene, in my opinion. Kind of see how it like folds up and falls and stuff. That looks great to me. Overall though, you know, it's kind of a small thing. Much like hair is a small thing. They're both small things, but they're big things. They make a big difference, but you don't necessarily think of them when you think of a game. We also saw some new factions. Let's check out the Dusters here. Look like they smell bad. Dude, you think these people have time to bathe? Why don't you like the top of Common, Rare, and Epic? We already have Common, Rare, and Epic in the game. You don't run into certain enemies unless they're spawned in for specific reasons. I mean, it would be weird to like run into one of these dudes. Well, it'd be weird to run into one of these dudes just like guarding a shipment of medical supplies, right? They gotta categorize the enemies or else they wouldn't respond right. Stronger BO for a higher rank. I think the stronger BO comes with the higher rank. They sell water in tiny jars at Pyro. Yo, these guys are in Stanton though. They got higher standards. They're in proximity of a shower. Like the concept, personally don't want items to literally say their tier. I don't think they're talking about items. Maybe they're talking about armor, but I'm pretty sure they're talking about character archetypes, like the enemies themselves are common, uncommon, rare, and legendary enemies. Yeah, time to kill is going to be important. And they did talk about that, I think, in the first person one. We'll be going over that later this week. Some time to kill stuff. Let's see. We got a couple other factions here. Who else? Oh, yeah. Let's listen to what they actually say here about this.
So
if it's about armor or characters.
So here we can see the Dusters gang lineup, showing armor leveling and rarity. So as a player...
So they did say armor leveling and rarity. They're going to want to... They'll probably need to... yeah, and it does say item leveling and rarity. So that's... You're right about that. If they're trying to label these armors, it's going to be weird. I do hope that the item rarity follows the enemy rarity. That would make the most sense. Otherwise, if that's the case, then it's pretty normal, in my opinion. You're not labeling things as certain colors or anything like that. But we do know that loot is supposed to have certain levels of rarity. How that is displayed, I think, sounds like more of what you're talking about.
You'll have horizontal armor progression. This will define your role and playstyle. Then you'll have vertical progression. This is your progression within that role and playstyle. For example, a common bounty hunter armor set will be weaker than a legendary, and as armor progresses in strength, it's harder to acquire. So harder missions, rarer drops, higher reputation.
So it's a thin line there. It's a little arcadey. If they're gonna make armor stronger for being, I get if these guys themselves are stronger because obviously they have more armor on, but if this shoulder plate is more strong than this shoulder plate simply because it's epic versus rare, then I'm with you on that. I don't like that. I like the idea of mixing and matching it, partially because they work better, it's covering you up more, but also partially because it's what you like. For instance, I like epic. I would want this armor much more than the legendary armor, but does that mean that I'll be at a disadvantage because, like, what if I put additional armor on with this? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I want to say I would like to see it in game, but by the time it's in game, it's in game. How is it any different than light, medium, heavy? Well, as far as I was aware with light, medium, heavy, it was really just the thickness of the armor that made the difference. It wasn't necessarily tied to the idea of it being common or uncommon. So that's why I'm saying it depends on how they communicate all of this. Some armor is more effective than other armor. What's the issue? Again, I'll say this for everybody in chat. I'm making this very, very clear. There's not an issue about armors being different. There's an issue about why they're different. Is it different because it's called epic? Or is it different because in the game, it was actually made to be better armor? Like, will I know that? Or will I just look at a color and be like, oh, okay, this is automatically better armor? Because a lot of the stuff they do in Star Citizen, they try to give it a reason. So it would be weird to just start throwing things in and being like, well, this is better because it's better. Star Wars The Old Republic decoupled looks from stats, but it was hard to tell what level armor people were wearing. They do that in RPGs too, right? Transmodding or something like that. Armor also reflects playstyle. If you're going for stealth, like playstyle, you wouldn't want heavy armor. You wouldn't want heavy armor, that's for sure. See no problem with this unless they give them really special attributes. Kind of like using the right tool for the job. Progression is vertical and horizontal. If you let us play, they explain. It is nice to know how experienced another player is based on their armor level. That's fair. Why not both? We could do both. As long as there's like a communication around it that makes sense for the game and isn't just there to be there. Do not want transmogs. That's what it's called, transmogging. Heavy armor is heavy. It is. But then it's like, well, why didn't they call this light, heavy, medium? They said higher ranked enemies have better armor. It is progression. Don't want to see something like wearing 4 pieces of this mining armor takes 50% more gems. Oh, I don't think we'll see that kind of thing. Yeah, that'd be too far. No, I think this is mainly just strength and style. And we don't even know how they're going to categorize armor all that much in terms of resistances and stuff. So it could be that this armor is actually better than this armor for certain things. A lot of details we're missing. Let's keep listening though.
Legendary. And as armor progresses in strength, it's harder to acquire. So harder missions, rarer drops, higher reputation. Now, as we're talking a little bit about armor sets, let's recap a little. So the goal is that players should consider which armor to equip based on the role they wish to fill and the scenario they're heading into.
We already went through all this, so we won't do it again. But I hear what he's saying. Harder missions, harder enemies, better armor. I do hope that, you know, it's just straightforward like that. That's cool. Now, here are the headhunters. This is another group. These people are in Pyro, though, so we won't see them as soon. The Dusters are coming in a month or two. These guys will be coming with Pyro. So this is the this is the Headhunters group. It's a group that they've been working on for the past several months now. They've been showing up in the monthly reports. Got a wasteland vibe. They use a lot of stuff. They're located in Pyro. Interesting group. These guys got no armor. Seems like they're just focusing on the look at enemies, because I'm sure the tactics between the different groups will not be different when engaging the enemy, and they should be, since these guys don't have armor. Wait. So you're acknowledging they don't have armor, and then you're saying that they should have different tactics based on the fact that they have armor, and then you're saying you're sure that they didn't think of that? Because they did. They talk about that in a different panel. What you miss? We're getting robotic body parts? No. No robotic body parts, but hair and tattoos. They did also announce that we will be able to get tattoos, as this is something more akin to the Rough and Ready gang, who's also in Pyro, we can see here. Yeah, citizencon, we're just reviewing this stuff for people who showed up late. I won't be playing the open beta of the finals. Looks fun though. VPZ, I think you're missing what we're talking about. There is a different panel where they show off AI traits. They show off a bunch of different AI traits, and they explain how all the different AI in the game will be able to have different combinations of traits, so they fight differently based on who they are, what gang they work for, and what they're interested in doing. It would be insane for them to not have thought about NPC traits for a game like this. So no worries there. All right, so we got rough and ready, we've got headhunters, and we've got dusters. And then we also lent over these sort of modular bags, which is kind of, honestly, it's kind of like we went over the introduction of backpacks over clothing. This is basically do the same thing. And I think they've got a video here to show it off. Pretty modular little system, and it actually works, at least from what they're showing us here. So obviously, the inventory system is not the best. Like, it's not super useful or easy to use, but it is going to change. We've seen now what their game systems look like when they're actually polished, the stuff from Squadron. So I imagine this will look a lot better when, soon TM. But this is really cool. I mean, yeah, we carry a lot of stuff on ourselves, and these bags don't necessarily have all the capacity, but I could see this being super useful for little things as more and more little trinkets and stuff come about, and we need to carry more small things around. I love this. This is a cool idea. It's a good question. In combat, I'm guessing the loot inventory will go to whatever your biggest inventory is, maybe? I don't know. No, I know the inventory system we see now will stay in some way. I'm saying it will look better because we've seen that they can make things look better as we've seen from Squadron. Not necessarily the things from Squadron we're getting, just that they've proven they can make these things better than we've seen. Being able to swap bags with different loads is, yeah, it'd be cool. You have a bag for a certain type of adventure up on the wall. All right, so we went back through this. Obviously, hair is the best part. We all know. We know this to be true. Let's take a look at this post everybody's talking about by Benoit on server meshing. Let's have a little read through, and then we'll wrap things up. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Okay. Here's a super rough English transcription of the server meshing part of Benoit's interview in French. No breathtaking news here, but small interesting bits of info. All right, interviewer on server meshing. Now that you've managed to do this on a small scale, which one is harder, doing the initial concept or scaling it? Benoit said, it's hard to quantify the amount of work required to scale it to a massive size, but we are farther than we thought with the functional system we have now. Now the tech is functional, but the question is to bring the game developers in the environment. So now the question is, are all game features functional in this server meshing environment? Not necessarily. So now on an audit of the full game is necessary to make sure transitions will be functional everywhere. In the demo shown, it's a bit simplified. We did not use all the features we did with ships. It works as much as with what's in the demo. It's more about checking functionalities of types of hand weapons, missiles, and fire propagation. So it's interesting, honestly, because they did talk quite a bit about changing up things like ATC, and the transit system for server meshing and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see them saying this again, double checking that things are working, but I'm guessing They updated it to what it would need to be, they thought. And now that they have the actual server meshing itself, they can work with it in real life and really make sure the stuff works with it. So this is why they plan on gradually bringing this technology into the game. Instead of with PES, they're choosing to bring all the elements in the game at the same time, which was with PES. We couldn't really make it gradual, but here we can. So step 1 with 321 in the following weeks, we'll really try to have a completely separate setup. Game server is here, replication layer is there and does the work, and we'll try to disconnect and test crash recovery. This step will allow us to bring the tech to maturity with real players. For now, it's still only one server equals one computer running all the simulation. The next step, which would be part 2, is static server meshing with 2 servers. That's what will allow us to go see Pyro in a seamless way to get the wormhole and jump gate running. The jump gate is the transition between servers, which with this step will have controlled authority transfer, with live players and ships crossing servers, each running a solar system. The next step, which would be step 3, is more than just a single server on a static place in each solar system. So that would be splitting up the solar systems into multiple servers. 4th step would be dynamic server meshing. It's the holy grail. This touches everything. For now, we have limitations. One example is missions. Each server has its mission system. You can't keep a mission between servers and other things like that. Interviewer asks, so for now the plan is to have 1 server per system, right? And he says, yes, exactly. But it may be subject to changes because we're a little early. And realizing the demo for citizencon really helped, so we don't know. Maybe we'll want to speed this up. But it'll depend on stability, because we can't allow to have stability problems like what we had this year. Live stability is very important. We cannot compromise it. I'm reading an update from Benoit Boujager, or I can't remember. I cannot do his last name. He's giving an update on server meshing. The interviewer then asks, do you plan to test server meshing in the preview channel on small scale instances like an arena commander? Benoit says, well, today with citizencon, we're numerous people at CIG. We don't know about everybody's work. So there are developers teams which came to see us after the citizencon server meshing demo and said, hey, I want your demo. I want to be able to test server meshing on my feature. So yes, we may have things like that, more experimentation, activating modes on test servers to check this and get feedback. It's especially hard to replicate what players can do in game. Even with our bots, they are either not good or bad enough. Not bad enough. Wow, Benoit. Yeah, I'll drop the link for you. Nothing can replace real players on a server. So, yeah. There it is. They are, they're working on it. It's in a place. It sounds like it's in a good place, not like it's going to be coming in the next couple months. But this sounds like server meshing is actually going not terribly, which is good. So the replication layer and crash recovery is going to be really nice on its own, just to maybe see less 30Ks and stuff and less crashes out of the game. I think that on its own eliminates a lot of the problems that cause people to not want to play. Server meshing will be good though. That'll unlock Pyro. I'm guessing up until we get Pyro, maybe then we'll still get features in 322. Check out the top comment from Chachi. Came down to Chris Roberts going up to Benoit while he was preparing the slides and pictures. It said something akin to, why don't we grow some balls and show it live? I see. Interesting. What if 4 weeks ago they had told us they didn't have server meshing working? We'd be pretty pissed. We'd be pretty disappointed. Nilsson, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. So did they do a better job of not saying anything up until now? Think they'll be giving us more frequent updates about how their server meshing efforts are going? Yeah, I think so. I think because now we're going to have to see that stuff happening in the PU, replication layer, and all that stuff. I think that we'll start getting more updates and more communication on it for sure. But that's about it for me, folks. Appreciate you all being here. Nice, another little review of a panel. Good times. Of course, we'll be doing another one tomorrow. And again, continuing more next week. Panels keep coming out, and I'll just be covering them in detail as they go. At the end of this all, I will release a video talking about my thoughts of citizencon overall, and kind of where it feels like they're going in direction. So, thank you all for joining me today. I hope you had fun. Hope you learned something. Hope you got some entertainment. Appreciate the lot of ya. Y'all keep being excellent. You're good folks. You're good folks. This community is awesome. We constantly feel the love, and we can see it amongst us. It's really great. And guys, I can't even explain to you how much Mrs. Tomato just adores this community. As somebody who kind of forced his wife, it was her idea, but kind of forced his wife to jump into something like this. She has done so much, and to see how much after this weekend, meeting all of you and getting to take part in everything, seeing how much she really loves it has been super heartwarming. So we appreciate the hell out of you guys. Thank you all. So he just asked me, new pod when? I'm recording today, so you'll see one on Monday. Thank you again, everybody. Appreciate you all. Have a great day. Catch y'all tomorrow.